Hello, everyone. Welcome to Everything Football. Match day 10, limitless team selection. What's the best team ahead of match day 10? We've already seen how the first legs went. So if you actually have a limitless chip until now, you're very lucky because you've already seen how the first legs went, and you know which games you're expecting a lot of goals in. Now, all of the games had a lot of goals. But in my head already, I feel like Man City Real Madrid are still that game is still going to have a lot of goals in the second leg. But I'm not really sure about Atletico Madrid and Dortmund. That could be a bit more cagey in the second leg, depending on how Atletico Madrid are going to approach it. So it's going to be very interesting. But let's see. Let's start with the goalkeepers. Let me tell you guys and show you guys which team I have gone for in terms of limitless. If you have a limitless chip, you are pretty lucky. So in terms of the goalkeeper, with that said, I'm going to go with the two games that I don't really expect a lot of goals in for the second leg, and I've chosen Oblak as the goalkeeper. Atletico Madrid up against Dortmund. I think if you go for the Dortmund goalkeeper, there's not too big of a deal. I think that is totally fine as well. But I've gone for Oblak, and I've also gone for Manuel Neuer. Again, if you want David Raya instead, absolutely no problem. But I feel like the way Atletico Madrid are going to approach that game, and also considering it, I'm expecting Dortmund to have a few shots in that game. By a few, I mean like a lot of shots, at least 7, 8 shots in that game. Oblak can get you a few save points. And for Neuer, he might end up keeping a clean sheet depending on how Arsenal approach that game. Could be a 0-0, who knows? Could be a 1-1. He can make a few saves as well. And those are the two I have gone for in terms of the goalkeeper. Defensive wise, actually not defensive wise. Let me go with the players that I feel like you definitely need to have. For the next round. And I feel like Phil Foden has to be there. He was incredible against them. He might end up being rested for Man City against Luton. I'm recording this way before that fixture, so I think Foden is a great pick. I'm expecting another attacking game in that match. Can I make this bigger for you guys? No, I can't. So Foden will be in midfield for sure. I will still go for Jude Bellingham. As you can see, still owned by 69%, and I'm expecting another open game there. Man City's defense is not the best, so he didn't do much in the first leg, but he could easily get a goal or an assist in the second leg. So those two players, I feel like you definitely need to have them in your team. The rest, I feel like it's 50-50. But I'm going to go with the third midfielder, which is Bukayo Saka. Looks like he's he could be like the highest scoring midfielder so far in the Champions League, or maybe highest scoring player in the Champions League so far this season. For sure, I think he's the highest scoring midfield. I don't think okay, listen, I think Foden, yeah, Foden and Bellingham, those three English players have the most points in the Champions League in terms of the games. I think Foden has played a lot of those games, if I'm not wrong. He missed 2 games. I think Bellingham might have played all of them. I think Saka and Foden have not played all of them, but great return. So we can see why I've gone for them, those three midfielders. And then next up, I am still going to pick the strike. I'm still going to go with Erling Haaland. I know he didn't do much. He was in Rudiger's pocket, as people say, but he's still very highly owned. If you don't go for him, and then it's another like 4-3, and this time he gets 2 goals and he gets man of the match, you are going to be in a few problems. But this is the limitless. If you're playing like a wildcard or just a random team, maybe I can see why you might take out Haaland to save money and spend it elsewhere. But on a limitless chip, you have enough money. So Haaland has to be in your team for me. Next up, I am going to go with what I said in that fixture. I'm expecting a lot of goals, so I'm going to have Vinicius there as well. I think if you go with Rodrigo, absolutely no problem, but I've paired them up. Vinicius, Bellingham, Foden, and Haaland. If you go back to defense, I'm not expecting a lot of clean sheets from that game. So for now, I'm going to avoid that game. I am going to go for one highly owned defender, Cancelo. He had a few chances to score and assist against PSG in the first leg, but he was a bit greedy. But hopefully this time he takes a better opportunity. And he did foul Dembele a couple of times, but after that he got I think he steadily got the better of him in the second half. I know Dembele scored, but he went to the left side to score. So Cancelo is in the team for me. Next up, I am going to go with Atletico Madrid. That's Molina. Again, I don't expect a lot of clean sheets from Barcelona, PSG, and Man City, Real Madrid. I'm expecting a lot of goals in those games again. So I'm targeting the other 2 games for clean sheets. So for that, if I go for a defender from those other 2 games, I'm looking for someone who's going to attack more, get recovery points, and Cancelo is one of them, and he's also highly owned. So Molina, Atletico Madrid, Dortmund, depending on how they approach the game, as I said, with Oblak, they're also playing on the first day. So If they don't keep a clean sheet, then you have the likes of Neuer to bring off the bench. Next up, I am going to go with a player who will be back for the next round. That is Hakimi. Again, attacking defender. I'm going to go for an attacking defender. Don't expect clean sheets in that game, so I'm going to go for an attacking defender. Somehow, I wrote down the four defenders, and somehow they are all four of them are literally on the list together, and Gabriel is the fourth one. Surprisingly, they're all of them on the list. Gabriel and Saliba, whichever you want to go for, I don't mind. Even Ben White is absolutely fine. Again, that game, I think Arsenal will approach it in a more defensive manner, and Gabriel is also a threat in terms of set pieces. Next up, I've gone for a Dortmund defender, and I have picked Schlotterbeck. Incredible in terms of ball recoveries in the first leg against Atletico, so I've picked him for this one. So hopefully that is a good balance: a Barcelona defender, an Atletico Madrid double up, a PSG defender, a Barcelona defender, not Barcelona, sorry, a Bayern Munich goalkeeper, an Arsenal defender, Dortmund defender. I think that is a good balance. Alfonso Davies suspended for the second leg. Guerrero could come in. If you're like on a budget and you're not playing a limitless, Guerrero could be an option. The last three picks in this team, I have gone for the best player from the last match day, or one of the best players from the last match day. That is Rafinha. I'm expecting goals in that game, and hopefully they do deliver in terms of the goals. Where's Rafinha? Where's Rafinha? Where's Rafinha? There is Rafinha. There is Rafinha at 8.3 million. I've gone for Rafinha again. You don't really have to go for Rafinha. You can go for Harry Kane or Mbappe if you prefer those two players. But I'm going to go for the teams that I'm expecting a lot of goals from in the second leg. So Rafinha is there. He was incredible against PSG. Could easily have had a hat trick. He was taking the set pieces as well. He was unlucky not to get a hat trick. He had like 3-4 shots on target in that match. Incredible. The next midfielder I have gone for, I'm going to go for another Man City midfielder. If you have a limitless, not many people can afford this midfielder. So if you have a limitless, I mean, you're in a very convenient position, and he's only owned by 13%. I don't think he's not going to play the first leg and also not play the second leg. I don't think that is going to happen. Now, for the fifth midfielder, very tough, because now I feel like, okay, two Barcelona players. The good thing with playing a limitless, you don't have to worry about the next round. Whoever goes out, you don't care. You can even go for 5 players from one team. You don't really care. But for this one, I have 2 Barcelona players, 3 Man City players, is 2 Atletico Madrid players, there's one Bayern player. Now, I'm going to go for a second Bayern player because I want to balance it out, and I'm going to go for midfield. Gnabry is now injured, but I'm going to go for Sane. He was involved a lot in that game against us, so his finishing product just wasn't there. So I feel like this team is well balanced out. A goalkeeper, Oblak and Neuer. Defensive wise, Cancelo, Molina, Hakimi, Gabriel, and Schlotterbeck. Midfield, Foden, Bellingham, Saka, De Bruyne, and Sane. And then up front, Haaland, Vinicius, Rafinha. As I said, other options: Mbappe is an option, Rodrigo is an option, Harry Kane is an option. All those guys are options. Raya is an option in goal if you prefer. Loaning if you prefer any of those guys. So that is a team. I did do my predictions in the team selection video. Will be out very soon. Make sure to check that one out. I did my predictions for what I'm expecting for those matches. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be very interesting to see how those games go. So I'm going to actually give you those predictions here as well. Man City to beat Real Madrid 3-2. I feel like Bayern Munich is going to be a 1-1. It's going to be decided and penalties or something extra time. Dortmund 1-1 against Atletico. That means Atletico will go through, and then Barcelona 2-2. So as you can see, I'm expecting Man City and Barcelona to have another high scoring game in both games, and then the Bayern and Dortmund games to be slightly more tighter and closer. So it's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be very interesting. Let me know if you have a limitless chip, are you going to play it this week? Are you going to save it? I think this is the best week to play it, honestly, if you haven't used it yet. But as of now, I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you, and I'll catch up with you on the next one.